welcome to the Family Change Podcast. Today we are talking about having your children seen and heard. We'll start from that end of the couch and we will introduce ourselves and give our ages. So, Princeton?
I'm Princeton and I'm 4.
Hi, I'm Ben Houston and I'm 10.
What's up, guys? I'm Vaughn Kensington and I'm 16.
I'm Hampton and I am 12.
I'm Bijou and I'm 22. I'll be 23 in a couple days.
She's going to be 23 this week. Okay, I'm Emma Sarah and I am the mother of 8 of these wonderful children and I'm also known as Mother of Change.
There is only 8 children for clarification.
And there is, well, there is one child who's missing one. She's out right now.
Yep. Clinton here, Father of Change. Just welcome to the podcast and just looking forward to the topic tonight. And yes, thanks for everyone showing up.
Hi, I'm Wright and I am 7.
I'm Niall and I am 21.
And we are the McMillions and we're so excited to have you guys here tonight. We had to take a couple of episodes off, but we are back and we are ready to talk to you this evening and just share our insight, our family. You know, we're not perfect, but we have figured some things out in all of our imperfection. We've been able to just do some amazing things. And so we're here tonight to talk about why children should be seen and heard. And so the question is to the moms and dads out there, do you feel like your children are both seen and heard? But I think that the most important question would be, do your children feel seen and heard? And so the common, you know, just, I would say, I don't know, probably for decades, a very common term, raise your hand if you have ever heard it, but children should be seen and not heard. That's a very, very common, you know, old school kind of saying, children are to be seen and not heard. And so the tendency is to kind of push them to the side and, you know, you're not supposed to be where the adults are, you're not supposed to sit with the adults, and this is an adult conversation. And we've made a choice to raise our kids differently. And so tonight we're going to give the kids the opportunity to step up and just be a voice tonight, because we want to talk about why children should be seen and not heard. And so Bijou, why children should be seen and heard. So Bijou, I mean, just, you know, and this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to share this video. If you know any parents who would like to just have a better relationship with their children, or if you know any parents who would like to just see their children shine. You know, when kids have a voice, I think they're able to shine. So Bijou, why don't we just talk to them about, you know, because you're the product of being raised as a child who was both seen and heard, how that's impacted you now as a young adult.
Well, it's a lot different, I think, to have a mentality of, so my parents kind of raised us to have, like, be included in adult conversations. And particularly with me, I remember, especially with my personality too, was like whenever there was adult conversations or whatever, I would always purposely go sit with them, even if the rest of the kids were playing. And I think that just kind of proves the point of kids do want to be part of those conversations.
Absolutely, yeah.
And obviously some kids, just depending on if you have or haven't raised them to appreciate it, maybe they don't appreciate it as much, but there is a level of them wanting to have those kinds of things. And if you're a parent, you've probably seen that, because you'll get those really big questions at times and you're like, how the heck do you even know this? So I think having a space where kids can come into the conversation, even if they're not really saying a whole bunch, but just listening, is good. And like, I've kind of always had this internal philosophy, like the last few years of my childhood too, was like, if I'm in a conversation, I'm gonna listen, and then at the end, when like the group is kind of done talking, then I'll ask my questions or give my input. So that's another way for kids to kind of give their input and talk and everything, but not at the same time be like overstepping the conversation, because, you know, there are some you know,
well, courtesy,
yeah,
right,
yeah, or it's so it's not like you're having a sassy kid inside of an adult conversation. Like those are the worst.
Right.
So it's like
true. There is, I mean, there are parameters, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that. So now, like, maybe you can talk to them about how we've been able to create a culture where you guys are both seen and heard, but also an atmosphere of respect.
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing in teaching your kids, if you want them to be part, and you should want them to be part of adult conversations, is discretion. For sure, that is the biggest thing. Is because whether it's children or adults, is that you may have something to say, but unless it's what was our thing? It was whether it was godly, whether it was uplifting, whether it was informative, and whether it was true. If it was,
that's good to know.
if it didn't pass those tests, then try not to say it. Obviously, but it doesn't work all the time. But or it does work all the time, but we just don't follow all the time. But yeah. So definitely discretion is, and teaching your kids discretion early on is a big thing. And yeah, when it comes to just, and also the importance of listening as well.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've kind of ingrained and really taught my kids and really asked them to or trained them and would to be full faced. That means to look you in the eye, to be able to look an adult in the eye and not do the looking down or like the hiding through. Is that to instill in them confidence that they can actually speak and be engaged inside of a adult conversation. And how I really did that, or how I say that we did that, is that we included them in the conversation. So as a dad, I bring my kid into around my friend group or in a conversation dealing about something that's technical or whatever we're talking about, and I would include my kid in the conversation, right? And I would kind of like prime them for a question or whatever, and include them. And so, and I would prompt them, say, okay, hey, what do you say about that? Niall or Brighton, what you tell Mr. Jim or whatever. What do you think about that, right? And totally give them an opportunity in the window to be able to speak into the conversation. And so, you prime them with enough information and give them opportunity to speak, because I never forsake a child's youth. And so we in our home, we have a lot of firsts in our home, and the biggest reason is because we never despise the youth. We say, oh, they're just a kid, let them have fun, just go, just kind of let them do their thing kind of deal. It's more of go ahead.
Let them be crazy, do what they want, and run around your house and make a mess.
You're saying that's what most people do.
Yeah.
Yes, I could tell. And when you want them to actually be quiet and sit in the corner, they're not going to do that, because they're going to do what you've always let them do at home. Because whatever they are at home, they're going to be everywhere else.
That's a whole other.
That's a whole other topic right there. That's a whole other
you stick it in their head.
Yeah. And what are you exactly sticking in their head? Like, what happens with that process?
What you tell them when they're a kid might affect them when they're an adult.
And so how do you feel about being able to talk in adult conversations? How does that make you feel?
Kind of like an adult.
Do you feel like you have something to bring to the table and talk to us about at all times? Or do you ever feel intimidated, or do you ever feel scared to join an adult conversation?
It's our family. I'm not sure I was scared of our family.
So when you talk to other people that we go to, do you have a problem?
Like if we're visiting with friends?
Yeah, friends or talking.
Do you feel shy to talk to adults? If we're with you, of course, not strangers.
No. Sometimes, while I was talking on the phone a couple days ago, with the person on the phone, and the guy was like, yeah, the ants were crazy and everything. And I was just talking and
Yeah, Brian will definitely interject himself.
He has the personality that it didn't matter.
Yeah, I had a service call. We had a little little ant invasion, and my ant guy was trying to talk to me, but my son was on the phone, on the speakerphone, trying to talk a little bit more than me. So there is. I mean, that just shows his ability to feel like he was able to take care of the job. He is. If you guys know about the DISC assessment, he's a captain, and on the DISC assessment, I'm a behavior coach, so I know about the stats, and him and I are very equal. So I respect him as a little captain. I respect him in his personality, and that's the beautiful thing. We actually have a course on DISC assessment, so you can assess your own children, and it's a very, I mean, we're talking about communication right here, but it would be a disservice if I didn't at least mention that my kids do have a voice, but because I know about their behavior assessment, that I'm able to, like I said with him, because I know he is a captain, I'm able to give him a little bit more grace and a little bit more room to spread his wings, because it's giving him confidence. And so, but then of course, there's a time to rein them in, but we do have a course that shows you how to assess your kids. But I mean, Remington, we give him, he's an evangelist, he's a pastor of our Kids of Change. We have a kids membership as well. So how has that helped you, Remington, that we've been able to just always give you a voice, and now you're a leader for children?
Well, it's always been a passion of mine to help people, because I literally had a vision about evangelism when I was very young. And so really giving your kids, like, if they have a passion, or if they just had something that they felt that they want to learn about, like really just letting them spread their wings, because most families are like, oh, that might be too expensive, or just go to school, okay? Like, we can talk about it when Dad's around.
Or when they're like 30?
Yeah. We'll talk about it later. Like, you can do your dreams once you get out of school and get out of the house. Like, really, like...
You can do your dreams once you get out of school and get out of the house.
Okay. That's his perspective, yeah. He's allowed to have that voice, so he's allowed to have that opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because, like, most families, they just don't let their kids have the voice that they deserve. Because kids are very, like, even though we might be small, we always have something to say. And, like, always just let your kids, like, move on with their passions, because if we give them room for their passion now, like, they'll take their passion to another mile in the next year. And so, like, if it's something for God, like, just let it run wild. Like, they had, they started something, and they handed it over to the kids, and we've been, Kensington was running it, and then eventually went over to me, and now I've been just constantly running it, and it's because it's something I'm passionate about. I love it. It's fun to see the kids come on. We get to do crafts and everything.
He's the head of a leader of our Facebook community called Kids of Change, and we also now have an Instagram reel as well that all of these four. I say
just
order.
A reel.
It's a feed, but they're doing motivation.
You
They're doing
mean
God's word.
five?
Five.
Yeah, Remington, Kensington, and Houston, Princeton.
That's 5.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Princeton's doing reels on there, but it's okay. This guy.
But he still has a voice.
But he still has a voice. He's like, please, the point here.
No matter how small. I guess that's true. That's true.
Something I want to bring up too is that as somebody as I've grown up and an adult now and gone into the workforce, is a way that being included when I was young has majorly impacted me, and has helped me quickly come up with my job is talking to managers. Is like kids being in the adult conversation, is being a lower level employee going up and talking to managers and bringing solutions and being willing and having those skills to talk to people who know more than you, and people who are at a higher level of authority than you, but yet you can bring useful things to the table. Or even just talking to them just personally. It's like I had somebody come up to me and was like, Daisy, why do you talk to the managers so often? I'm like, well, they're people too. He's like, he was specifically mentioning at lunch and stuff like that. He's like, why do you talk to the managers so often? I'm like, well, because they're people too. People need to talk to them. They need friends. And you know, at the end of the day, is you know, is as long as people are respectful, yeah, you can have those conversations, and having those tools that you understand is to wait, to have discretion, to wait your turn, and then when you're ready to speak, make sure it's uplifting, it's true, you know, it's godly, all that kind of things. And you know, with managers and stuff like that, is take your experience, things you've learned down low, and bring that experience to create a solution for them in a way they may not have thought about it before. And that has helped me, Joel.
Like we constantly have vision meetings, like what we're going to do this year to help the mission. And every time I always am sitting there listening to what is happening, and like I always enjoy listening because like they're talking about things they can do, and then I always try to find an opportunity to say, what can I do to help you guys get the mission done? And like being able to have like a family that is focused in a mission, and then being able to get involved in it, and hearing the older kids like have a part, and then having the kids also having a part, it's just like involving your kids. It's really just going to set them for the future.
Hey, I wanted to shout out to some of our viewers right now. Hey, Michael, and congratulations. Michael's film we're going to do a shout out for Michael because he's one of our film friends. Michael just won an award. I saw that at the Christian Worldview. What is it, Christian Worldview?
CWVFF.
She just got back from it. She just got, I don't know, Michael. I messaged him.
Christian Worldview Film Festival.
I said, if you see BG, I said, take a picture with her.
Oh,
So anyway,
he won to one, I think.
yeah, he just won an award. They were shouting him out because he was, for his role in Imposter, he was Imposter Pastor, I think it is. It's called, they won some award, the film did. So congratulations to the team for that. And we are a film family. Hello, Mrs. Maria, and I see my mom is.
Speaking of films, I just wanted to shout out BGU's. The Assam project just got launched on Amazon Prime, so
BG's films, short films. Go ahead and tell them about it, BG.
Yeah, so the Song Project originally was a collection of short films, but now we've compiled it into one video, and it's on Amazon now, which is
the feature length.
Yeah, it's just yes, technically just short of a feature length, but yes,
it's like 53 minutes.
53 minutes.
It's 52 minutes and 46 seconds.
This is why we're also homeschooled. But yes, our heart for this project has just been to share the songs with the world and help people like see it and experience it in an entirely different way. Niall has been an immense help with it because he's done, you know,
he's done the
voiceover for I don't remember how many right now, but at least 16 to 17 out of 21 songs. And then
he turned into basically the narrator.
Basically the majority of the narration's done by Niall, and then we just compiled videos and just made it happen. So yeah, thanks to my parents too, because obviously they've done a lot for that as well. But
it's really exciting, and I hope you guys, if there's anything that you guys take away today, is that this is the #1 thing, and this is the strength of our message of Families of Change. Not only are we raising up family missionaries, that means missionaries unto your own home, where your focus is at home, to raise your children in the Lord, to evangelize your children, but also a part of our message is to help you identify your calling as well, and to help your children identify their calling. And I think a lot of adults stumble through life never really feeling satisfied. They go through college, spend tens of thousands of dollars, and they get out and they're like, oh, I really didn't want to do that. And so we've always been very purpose focused, very calling focused. I do have a homeschool course as well, exactly how I raised, and this is how I raised my kids and how I homeschooled them. The Lord, literally, I have a 400-page book. It's called Mother of Change, but I do have a course where it's 20 units, and I share every single thing that I did with my kids to raise them to be who they are today. I share it in a course, so you guys, if you need the course, just put course link and we'll send it to you. But what I want to say is the strength is that the society has dumbed down parenting. It has dumbed down our children. school systems have dumbed down our children. And there was a time that academics were important in schools, and now it's just propaganda and indoctrination, and it's no longer about academics. And so there's no better time than the present to just step back, relook at your family dynamics, relook at your family household, and make some decisions. You know, do we want to go on with the status quo and send our kids to a school where academics isn't important, where their purpose isn't important? And not only is their purpose not important, but let's go ahead and confuse them more about who they are.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll say too is that like even in our home, is that when you know, just to stay on the topic is let little ones have their your children, let them have their voice. And so we provided the opportunity, the resources for them to have their voice. And so she launched her Songs Project, and it's been ongoing for multiple years, and has allowed her to be able to do that, but also incorporated. We have actually a couple of us speaking into it, and a couple of little ones actually kind of speaking to it as well. So it's a project that actually.
This has been a project this has been like a project, I think, even though it was, you know, something that God gave me, and I've definitely, you know, put a lot of hours and things into it. It's been a way that I could even incorporate my whole family.
Right.
And, you know, even if it's just like me sitting down again for another edit, and it's like the 4th or 5th rendition, having, you know, the little boys come and watch it, and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think? And having them watch it, and they're pointing out, they're like, oh, we really like that. Oh, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Or just like, you know, just kind of using them as my audience. I had Princeton do some voice for some of it, and you know, just different things like that. It's like it gives them a way. And I think also, like, people will maybe think when you say, like, let kids have their voice, so they think, oh, well, is that like, what does that even look like? Instead of letting their voice be
like mouthing off, no, or being smarty. Oh, you know, go ahead. I do want to comment on what you're about to say.
Yeah, so it can be in just like daily life. This is kind of a little bit along the lines of lifestyle again.
Yeah.
This is you know, when we're doing a creative project, having the kids give their voice into it. If we're doing a Bible study, having them give what they learned out of the Bible study to us, and you just use a couple of questions to kind of draw it out of them.
Yeah.
It's when we meet somebody new, you ask them hey, what did you think about that person, and kind of use the interactions that are around them as case studies, as we called it. My mom called it like case studies.
I always called it the case studies.
Yeah. So I'll go back to that again. So it's letting so that's a project we used, and then another opportunity that we used through as a family is that we used book writing. Okay, and so who on the couch here has written a book or has got an author of a book?
No, not me.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book.
Who authored a book? Sorry, I forgot my hands.
So okay.
Yes.
So a lot of us here.
Writing a book.
She has
We haven't published a book, so
she has an unpublished book. So
I was the first author, and I got it to like the 3/4 way, and then I was like, you know what? Never mind.
She never completed, but I'll tell you, her unpublished book led people to Christ because she let them read it, and it led people to Christ. I don't know why she didn't publish it, but.
Okay, but
the
point being is that that's an opportunity, right? That's one of the opportunities we use, and so it's like when we say we let our kids have a voice, is that not only do we purpose to do it, and definitely my wife has definitely helped that out, and for sure spearheaded that. But the point being is the fact is that that is a physical, tangible thing that these little ones, it's a mark in the ground or a stake in the ground that they as little ones have had their voice heard, right? And they're actually impacting the world. You know, each and every one of them in their topics. So.
And that's something I've actually been vacillating about. Is maybe doing a course. Maybe doing a course on helping children publish books, like parents helping their children publish books. That's something that we've thought about because now we've become so good at it. I mean, Von Killington just published his book. So you guys all, I want you, one person to run and get some books right here, and then we'll just come.
Yeah.
Okay, they're already on that. So what I wanted to say for Bijou, though, is that this is one thing I do see, okay?
I also want to comment on
Oh, okay, he wants to comment. So he actually had his hand up before I was going to comment. So let's go ahead and give him the floor. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. This one, we actually helped on the science project. We gave her like advice, what pictures should go in and what pictures should go out.
You give a lot of advice.
Yes.
All right, everybody hold up at least one of your books up, okay?
This is what my book is.
I've edited every one of these.
She's
for the
edited
record.
every one.
Oh, there you go. You definitely can take credit on that one.
All right, everybody hold your
I have done many
just hold
midnights.
it this way. All right, we're going to hold them up because I'm going to end up taking a still shot of this. Can you guys all hold your books up? All right. So everybody really quick, I want you to go really quick around and tell them about your, I didn't know we were going to do this about your books. Go ahead and tell them very quickly about each of your books, okay?
My book is The Laws of Thermodynamics, Good Guide, and I wrote it because...
Not that quickly.
So tell them what it is. Go for
Say
it.
it again.
The Laws of Thermodynamics...
Oh, you know what? I'm going to have each one come, so we're going to do a close-up, and you just stand in front of this camera right here. We're going to do the...
You don't need to read the whole back of the book.
No,
It was
here.
just-
Okay, I want each one to come right here, because we're
You
going to do
should
the
stand
close-up
right here.
camera. So I want to give them a moment so that they can
There you go.
just sit down for a second, and each one take 1 second and hold your book up and tell them about your book.
Show them cover there, bud.
There you go.
All right.
So I wrote this book because I read like 2 studies and watched a whole video about basically humanity is kind of a little bit dumb.
Okay.
Like a little
Well, wait, well, we don't, no.
No, that's not.
So, okay, but this is a situation, they get to have a voice, but if they say something that is, you know, that is in a spirit of pride, okay, so there are some things that are not great with humanity. We all see what we're doing right now. We're having a moment of parenting right now. So, okay,
Welcome to the household.
in whole, okay, we can't make a blanket statement like that, but why don't we, and he's talking about evolution, right?
Yes.
So that's it. I'm just going to tell you, he's talking about evolution, not humanity, but he wants to say that it's believed a dumb lie.
Yes. Humanity has believed a dumb lie.
Evolution.
And the
Let's
laws
get
of
behind
thermodynamics, the very same people wrote a piece of evidence against themselves.
Ooh.
So this book is basically exposing what they wrote against themselves.
Whoa. And it's called the laws of thermodynamics and their effects on you. And I will tell you this, a rocket engineer read this book and he reviewed it and he said that it was really good. So it's not just a kid's perspective, it's actually the law of thermodynamics, and then he used creation and God's word to make some claims over here. All right, so next.
Musical chairs much?
Yeah, so I wrote a book, it's called The Way of the Lion, and so my book is about, it kind of piggybacks on what we're talking about today, is kids in their youth, is a lot of times is they think that because they're small or they're young, is that they can't accomplish their goals in life. But this book kind of talks about that whatever your goal is, you can accomplish it when you're young, and age is really just a number. And so this kind of like helps kids to become leaders. And
How does it do that? What do you provide in there for them?
So it has affirmations and workbook pages inside of it, and then it has my story on how I became a leader, because when I was younger, I honestly didn't exactly know what I was going to do with my life, and so kind of touches up a little bit on that. And yeah, so that's basically what my...
So it has his testimony, it has how he is actually one of the youngest youngest Amazon
Web Services
certification. It's a 6, men fail this test all the time. It's a 6-figure certification. He got it at the age of?
13.
At the age of 13, so he tells his testimony of really being challenged to get that certification, and then how he accomplished that certification. There's copy work, there is journaling, and there is also affirmations for your kids. And I have to turn around at Von Cunnington because I don't know if I'm looking at the camera. If you can see that, his picture's on the back of this book, and there's nothing that gives me so much joy besides them being, saved, is to see them stepping into their calling. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and also it kind of uses the animal, the lion actually, and it uses example of how they're leaders, and it kind of ties that in with his process.
Thank you. And Miss Kelly said congratulations, Bijou, on your film. And Miss Maria said
you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody that has supported it, financially with prayers and by sharing it too. So, yeah, please continue to share it. It's really exciting just to hear everybody's testimonies on how it's made an impact on their life.
Yes, and you guys, it's beautifully
It is
done.
beautifully
It's called
done.
the. Tell them again what it's called.
It's called the Psalm Project, and you can see it on Amazon.
But it's a Psalms film. What if they're typing it in?
This is a Psalm Project.
Yeah,
It's called the Psalm Project.
Yeah, you just type the Psalm Project on
Okay.
Amazon
The
Prime.
Psalm
and-
Project, yeah.
and yes, totally beautifully made.
And it's all the Psalms from what Psalm to a Psalm.
Psalm 1 to Psalm 21 is what we currently have.
Yeah.
My favorite is number 18.
Yeah, I was gonna say 18 is probably.
They're so. I had a woman contact me. She's like, Emma, Sarah, I was going through a really hard time, and I watched one of the Psalms, and I think she was in the hospital, and she watched one of them, and anyway, they're very, very soothing. If your house has a lot of disharmony, if you're having a lot of unrest in your house, I suggest getting it. And then literally my plan is to just be having it play in the day. We have a big screen, so I just want it in the background because it will bring shalom, the Jewish word for peace into the home.
So it is. So it's the Bible verbatim put to film, and so it's actually the word written and spoken, the word spoken, and it's written to film. So it's a beautiful montage of.
We're so proud. Can't
Yeah.
you just tell we're so
Yeah.
proud? We're so,
Yeah.
you know why? Because she started it when you were how old? You have to tell them how old you were when you started it.
Okay, it was 2 years ago, so
So you were
21-ish.
No.
20.
Were you 21 when you started?
Yeah.
I thought you were.
My
I thought you were
hope for
19.
this thing is
I thought you were
that-
19.
No, that's when I heard the Lord told me I was going to be a producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this
So,
all,
but I started doing my first screenplay writing thing when I was 16. So, like, I tried to make a screenplay, and I was like, well, I'll write it into a book instead, and then I didn't do the book either.
one
so.
of the things, like what I want
I
you
finished this project.
Yes, and it's important to you. So go ahead, Remington. Go ahead, Remington.
This is the Kids of Change Glide Guide, and this is like.
This is my mama wrote this book. Remington gave.
Oh,
a lot of
I
input.
told Remington to help me with this.
Remington definitely gave a lot of input into it, and because he obviously is the Kids of Change leader, he goes through these principles and how they kind of put it together is they did like a video, kind of like a video.
It's a course.
Yeah,
We
video
have,
course.
we actually have a course.
That's right. Yeah, you do.
Mhm.
They did a video course, and they did each video corresponding to a chapter. So
So your kid could get, go ahead and tell Remington.
So your kid could get this really easily, and I have a friend, and he has this book, and he says it's so fun to have because he goes through it, and it's building a godly character, and having a godly character inside of kids is amazing because it is growing in self-confidence, learning responsibility, identify your superpower, discover your purpose, and vision your future is glide. And so we need kids should glide
Into their future, right?
glide into the future. They should.
Alright,
Thank you so much.
cool.
All right, but wait, there's more. Okay, go just walk all the way around, and then you come this way. Wow.
Brighton is a shameless entrepreneur, by the way.
Yeah.
Shameless. No, he's a salesman. We don't even have to talk about shit. We just gotta tell. Sit up all the way.
He's
back.
a proud entrepreneur.
That's it, right? Okay, there you go, buddy. And hold it up. Okay, go ahead, buddy. Tell me about your book.
Okay.
How old were you when you wrote this book?
4, and I was one of the youngest authors in America of the century. So,
What's
How
your
did
story?
you get the idea of this book?
by a vision one night, and also, but I got more help from Apex for Kids.
That was your inspiration. So Apex is a book publishing company that helps kids. So he was inspired by them. But can you open it up so you can show them and tell them a little bit about the story and why young people would want to read it?
So what's your book called first off?
Brighton's Dino
Dino Adventures. And Not So True Story.
Not so true, sorry.
Yeah.
So he came up one day and was kind of telling us a story, and me and Dave and my mom were there, and he was just kind of like telling us a story. And I think my mom threw it out there. She was like, "Oh, he should write a book one day." And I was like, "We should have him do it like right now because he's got this story." So Dave took him into our room because we shared a room back then. And we just turned on the voice recorder app on the cell phone, and he literally just poured out this whole story. And it was pretty close to what this is. We had to trim a few pieces, but I mean, this is basically his story right here.
This is from the mind of a 4-year-old. But
Yeah.
I have friends who have brought it for their grandkids and their children, and one of the grandmas, like Emma Sarah, I think my grandson has made me read it 100 times to him because there's also an affirmation in the back for them to read as well.
Here, let me read you one.
Okay.
Here is what I discovered. When something tries to stop you, try again. Mistakes help. You learn when you succeed.
You gotta pause right there. Mistakes help you learn.
You learn.
When you
learn. Even like when Starship exploded 5 times. It made Elon Musk learn.
That's right.
Oh, and Elon Musk learned.
That's true, okay. Yeah, so when mistakes happen, it helps you learn, and when you succeed, you
did it, and then you go to the next level. And you better be strong and try again sometimes. You might need help. That's okay. Ask your family for help. They want to help you. Write in McMillions.
That's the letter to his readers. So
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's
a really cute story. It has like humor. It has this one
It's
part
actually
inside of
funny.
it that's kind of funny. It was a little unexpected.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did. I'm pretty proud of his little book. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're coming to our half hour, so I will save my books for a different day. But listen, you guys can find all their books on Amazon.com. You can look for our Emissary McMillion and click on my name.
Yeah, I know for sure you can buy it on.
We'll point out, since Dave's not here, Dave does have a book as well. And hers
Dave
is-
has a really good book, and I just saw that Amazon has it on sale for like $4, but it is 100% illustrated. She hand drew every single picture on it, and little girls like it because you can color it, but teenage girls like it because she wrote it from a teenage mind about personal worth and self-worth and beauty and not
poetry.
It's poetic, it's beautiful, it's line drawings, and hers is called She Writes Art. She Writes Art by Dave McMillion. And then this series, it's called Kids with a Z, Kids of Change series. That's all their books. And then, just type any of my kids' book names up with the, and it normally comes up on Kennedy McMillian. Or you can go to me, click on it, and some of them will come up because I'm listed on some of their books.
If you didn't hear my name correctly, it's not Brian, it's Brighton.
Oh,
He's like, if you're going to try to search our names, you're going to have to know them. So.
If you don't find it, come back and let us know and we'll tag you. But I do want to say this last thing, okay, because this is what I wanted to just wrap around with what you said, Bijou, is one of the things I do want to say that's really important, this is the common thing is that I do see is like letting your kids be seen and heard. This is the number one thing I see that's most common is that kids who have a voice in their house, it's not a proper voice, it's not a respectful voice. I see them, like you said, sassing their mom and dad. I see moms arguing with their kids because that's not the kind of voice kids need. Kids don't need a voice to argue.
That comes natural.
No, actually, it doesn't.
It may be part of a sin nature that comes natural,
sin
but it
natural,
should not be
it's not natural.
encouraged, and it's not a normal thing that happens in our house because
No,
it's
it's not
definitely
natural.
curtailed.
It's cultivated, and so if it's natural, like it's not natural for our kids to argue with us.
Yeah.
So it's not natural.
It's natural for the sin nature, yes.
It's natural for the sin nature, but it is cultivated. I'm telling you, kids who argue with their parents is because there's like this part of you that says, oh, they need to have a voice, so I'm just letting them express themselves. No, that's if I say anything tonight, that is not what I'm saying. Okay, I am not trying to give your kids a license to talk back to you, to overtalk you, to overrule the conversations, to speak out of line. So like I love that Niall gave the principle, Niall. Maybe we'll just end it there, Niall, with the principles of a healthy, boundary for kids to be able to be seen and to be heard.
Yeah. So is it uplifting? That's huge. Is it godly? Is it true? I think those three right there, that pretty much encompasses everything. Is it uplifting? Is it godly? And is it true? And then, of course, timing and discretion.
Right.
So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find us all on all the socials, pretty much. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Yes, you can.
Oh, bye, Miss Kelly, and thank you for giving.
And Miss Kelly is on tonight. She's one of our teachers on our membership program. If you guys are interested in having your kids join our community where our kids are leaders that are growing your kids to be leaders, we actually have some kids who have come up and now become leader in our Kids of Change program.
Yes.
You can put KOC below and we'll give you the Kids of Change information. You can find us. We have different Instagram pages for different reasons. So I have Emma Sarah Instagram. The kids have a Kids of Change IG. And then if you want to just follow us as a family, go to We Are the McMillions. That's it. Go to emmasarah.com to book me for speaking. And our familiesofchange.com is being built up, but it will be ready soon. We're the McMillions. This is the Families of Change podcast. Thank you for watching.
Thank
Join
you.
us each Sunday.
Thank you.
And you can find us on YouTube.
Go out, change the world.
Inside
Inside
out.
Love you
We
guys.
are the McMillions.
Bye.
Bye.